Welcome back to another episode of the Way to Money podcast, and I'm your host, Danteese, and today we're going to give a little insight on just common mistakes that college students make. And I feel that speaks to a lot of people that either went to college or if you're going to college, but this podcast will help you in order to find the solution to better yourself and not fall into the cracks and crevices of what it means to be out in the real world. So just to start off, we know going to college is a stressful time, especially in this day and age, to where you have to, if you want to go to a good enough school, they are very competitive. You do have to have the good academic records. You do have to have, you have to have the credentials to back it up. So with all that being said, no matter the responsibility that are on your plate, if you're investing the time, effort, and money going into college, you'll want to do everything you can to avoid these types of mistakes that can set you back. And, you obviously can't predict the future to plan ahead for specific hurdles life may send your way. But there are certainly ways to prepare yourself for the challenges people often face in college. Some of my family are successful college graduates, and they share some avoidable mistakes they made while pursuing, their college education, so you can steer clear for all my people that are going or plan on going. As the saying goes, hindsight is 20/20, so take advantage of someone else's perspective to get a clear vision of college student mistakes you should try to avoid. Let's start with number one, skipping the reading. People, while the advice to keep up with required reading may feel like equivalent of being told a parent to eat vegetables, it's really important factor for success. Most professors operate under the assumption students are trying to keep up with reading assignments and prepare lectures based on their foundational shared knowledge. So with meaning that you don't have to have, a lot of times reading can project understanding. It can help you along the way, especially if you don't understand certain topics, and also asking questions too. So never be afraid to ask your teachers about how to maneuver in that said class. And from one of my people that I did ask, and I say, and another mistake that I want to touch on too about college students' mistakes, taking on way too much. Me personally, I have had a share of this, and it is not a good feeling at all. It's time consuming. You pretty much have no life outside of school, and it's very taxing, and it can do a lot to your mental because, it doesn't pay to try to tackle on too much at once. One of the biggest college mistakes students make is overloading their schedules and take so many classes. You deal with sports, you try to build. Now you are trying to pull all-nighters to cram for a test that you didn't have time to study for, or that you forgot to study for. One of your friends had to remind you to be like, okay, we got this test coming up, or this professor sent you an email, and that really can take you away from a lot. There's nothing wrong with always being on task, and I'm not saying that, but striving to be an overachiever in college and you don't know how to carefully maneuver through that in your schedule, it's going to be taxing on your work life, your social life. It can be even with family life if you do have kids you're taking care of out of school because you don't have time to focus on none of it. Meaning, like, when you get assigned assignments day by day, sometimes you have 8 assignments a day, 10 assignments a day, and you have no time to just sit there and not do them. So you have to get ahead, and not even when you do that, you have other assignments that due the next day. Essay that may be due that next Friday. Quiz that may getting administered that following weekend or the upcoming week. So it's a lot gauging on time management. And if you don't know how to manage your time right, college is going to be very, very hard for you. And there's another thing too, I feel like what a lot of people do when they come into the concept of cramming or trying to learn information, they try to memorize without understanding. A lot of education involves memorization. But if you want to get the most out of your college program, you need to understand the relevance, the context, and the inner workings of the subject, not just the figures, names, and dates. Without understanding the information and you just trying to memorize something that you don't get, teachers don't ask you the question in the same format in which they give it to you. they usually try to switch wordings around or try to switch answers around or make the answers look similar to each other to see, have you really been paying attention? Have you really been reading? That's where the first reason comes in, that everything plays a part in itself. And if you don't believe it, just try taking the test without looking over the information and see where you end up. College is not for everybody. A lot of times I've been seeing valedictorians and salutatorians. Some of them didn't even graduate. Some of them didn't even go to a 4-year university. Some of them just started working, started making money. And it's okay. Everybody doesn't have to go down this college route, because college is stressful when you actually put down, the time and really just think about how life can kind of supersede everything. You have to plan. You have to have a set goal in what you're trying to reach, because it comes with a lot. It comes with a lot of time, a lot of money getting put into it. And speaking of money, this is another mistake that I feel like is though college students make all the time. And I have friends and colleagues that have been in this situation. You even have older adults that are still going through this. And you want to guess what it is? Ignoring expenses. And being in a college program does not mean the daily costs of your life are put on hold. Even though you have high hopes for a better job or salary after graduation, it's always important to remember to budget what you have and be careful just on spending frivolously. The expenses that you have pretty much determines your life on campus. If you get caught up with going out to eat, always buying this, not really budgeting your money while you're on college campus, you can end up not having a meal plan. You can end up not having enough to get a meal that day, pretty much starving. You don't have nothing to eat, or you have to tell people to send you money so you can DoorDash food. And that's a terrible way to live, because I feel like as though when you get in college, how much money it is to actually go to school. Because if you're at school for months on end. So meanwhile, your financial aid is taking care of your boarding room, a scholarship or whatever. You still have to eat. You still have to wash. You still have to do a lot of things. You still have to do that. It's not cheap. This is what you call people responsibility. This is something that a lot of people don't even get a chance to even go through until they go to college. Some people work early, some people start working late. And even when they do, they still don't gauge the responsibility that they need and actually putting themselves into a greater financial decision. And for all my high schoolers, this tip is catering to you all and even people that's still in college. This is another problem too that I had even with my school, because my school really didn't facilitate. They didn't facilitate foundation to where we could be able to even go get scholarships or be able to understand what financial aid meant and knowing good scholarships to get. So therefore, when we got to college, we didn't really have to pay much. It was favoritism involved. So what I want to tell you all, people, prioritize applying for scholarships, especially niche programs that focus on a particular passion, unique background, or experience. It definitely can take some time or effort, but there's opportunities out there. Not every scholarship is going to be huge, but even a handful of smaller awards over the course of your education can have a substantial effect, particularly when you're considering the cost of compounding interest on student loans. People, scholarships will help you, even if sometimes you might have to be up a little later than what you have to be, but they come in handy. I promise you, because once all that money gets spent over that time and you have to dig in your own pockets, you're going to feel it, especially if you don't have the correct savings to do these things. If you don't have the money built up, if you don't have the time, or if you didn't put in the time to actually look for good scholarships that's catering to your major and what you feel like your interests are, it's going to be definitely hard for you after everything is said and done. So that's why I feel like this is something that you definitely got to do. This is something that you automatically have to put yourself in a mind perspective. Okay, And it's not like, oh, you gotta put off the money talk. You can't worry about your financials. Well, my parents got that. Some people parents don't. Some people parents can't afford their college like this. So therefore, they have to put in the extra effort in order to come up with a way to be able to, okay, I need to do work study. I need to have a job outside of this, outside of college, to where I can commute to and do that. I'm a college student that I have bills to be paid. I have tuition. And I'm going to be honest with you too. The people that may be over financial aid or whatever the case may be, in case you're listening, don't take it personally. Y'all do not do y'all job. Y'all suck at y'all job. And it's just being honest. And it's not even being that, because a lot of y'all do not try. Y'all don't help at all. As a matter of fact, y'all only give students the runaround. And therefore, it leads up to us questioning how y'all even in this position, or how do I get my situation straight to where I can get my aid back, or where is my scholarship, or I thought I had this, I thought I had that. And I go to the financial aid office and I'm getting told everything else but what I seen on my account. People don't talk about this enough. It's a lot to deal with when it comes down dealing with these people inside these offices. All you trying to do is make sure you good enough to be able to make sure all my classes in place. I got my credit, and make sure how much money do I need for each term. And make sure y'all not overcharging me, putting extra fees on my account when I don't need it. That's another thing. People, you got to watch your account somewhere, like you got to watch your bank statements, your credit card, all that. Because sometimes colleges will put into place where they do ask a little $50-$100 here just to see can they get away with it, and see if you don't catch it, they gonna keep continually doing it. And you gonna wonder why. Like, now it gonna get to the point to where they eat your scholarship money up. It's a lot living on campus. Like, I had a friend, she told me it's just $6,000 just to get your own room by yourself, but you still have to share a bathroom. And mind you, you have to share a bathroom with a person that may not be that hygienic. All people are not hygienic. All people didn't come from that type of background. Some more mistakes on the networking side. And I feel like this: comparing yourself to others. In this world we live in, it's always going to be somebody better than you in something that you may feel like you're the top dog in. But there's no reason, and I feel like this is what hurts people. Instead of trying to compare yourself and look at it as competition, get with that person, see what that person does, and try to apply it to your intake of how you intake school, or even your study methods or anything like that. Because it can get, if you do have a low self-esteem about yourself and you're not as confident, it's very common. A lot of students don't really come out and say this, but they do feel inferior. And some students will treat you as inferior. So regardless of whatever level that you reach, you're going to always have somebody that feels like they're above you in a way. No matter if you become a CEO, oh, you're a CEO, I've been a CEO for 10 years. You just got here. You're just now understanding what a CEO is. Some people need competition to thrive off and feel like they have something to need to live off of. And you don't have to live your life like that. Even if people say it's a man, it's a dog eat dog world, or man eat man world, whatever. I'm not in competition with you, period. What I'm doing is to further myself, build my foundation for my family and you know what I'm saying? Just trying to get that financial freedom that we all hope to get. That's it. I'm not looking what John or Jane or Emily's doing back at the crib, or back at FAMU University. I'm in Mississippi State University. I'm not doing it. I'm not comparing myself to people, because a lot of times you can't, like I said, everybody's built different. I'm not like you and you're not like me, because where I may feel short at, you might be strong, but where you may be your weakest, I'm the most powerful in it. And it's like, you got to look at it. I feel like when you comparing yourself to people, you're limiting your expectations to what people should have of you and what people shouldn't. And another thing I want to say, people, is get the most out of your time in college. With a better idea of what most of these college mistakes that I just named, you'll have a little more help navigating your education good colleges and university programs offer resources and support systems like therapy. Sometimes you have social group they can meet up with or anything like that. And sometimes students don't even know these resources exist. And people, make sure you're on the ups and ups about what resources that are there for you. College can get hard. College can get very irritating and stressful. I understand it. If you have places to where you can go get a therapist or you can, this will be the end of this episode. And I appreciate y'all for staying in and sticking in and watching. And make sure y'all follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, all that. People, subscribe to the YouTube page. How many times do I got to tell y'all to subscribe to the YouTube? Y'all watching, y'all down. Oh yeah, and keep downloading the episode, people. We almost to 500 downloads. I appreciate y'all and love y'all so much. And, happy Valentine's Day to all the lovely ladies out there who, for the ones that got a Valentine and for the ones that did. Mwah. Gave y'all a little kiss for the for the one time. And I appreciate y'all so much for supporting the show. See y'all in the next episode.